Once we have talked about the basics, it's time to go for the intermediate level. Now, from the first video, we are talking about functions, right? Now, if you remember, we have talked about print, and then we moved towards int, float, and multiple functions. So let's understand what are functions, and that's where we are going to start. But then before that, I want to shift from IDLE or the prompt of Python to IDE. Now, of course, you can use VS Code or you can use PyCharm. That's your choice. I'm going to use VS Code, and in between, maybe we'll shift to PyCharm. Doesn't matter, right? It's an IDE. Now, I have opened IDE, which is VS Code. I just wanted to give you some glimpse of what the things I'm going to work with. So if you're working PyCharm, do that, the same thing I'm doing. So open VS Code or PyCharm. In PyCharm, basically you have to create a project, and we have done that in the first few videos. Now in VS Code, I'm going to open a folder in which I have a folder in documents called Python course. In this, I'm going to create my first project, and we'll open that particular folder here. Okay, so again, doesn't matter what the folder name is, make sure that you have your one empty folder, and that's what I got here. Now in this folder, I'm going to create a file, and I will say this is my first file. So or maybe demo should work. So this will be demo.py. Again, extension not compulsory, but then a good practice, and certain places where it will be compulsory. So keep the extension. And here I'm going to say print just to test if things are working out. Now I'm saying print hello. And since I do have the extension for this .py and also the VS Code extensions, which is Python here, I should be able to see this play button, which is run. For PyCharm also, when you type the same code with a file, you will be getting an option of running there. So when I run this code, it will be running on the terminal here, and that's what you can see. We got hello. Now, this is how basically you run the project, right? When you actually work on a project, this is what you're going to do. But since I'm teaching, I don't want to see, I don't want to show all this extra stuff here. I want things clean. The first thing I will do is I will run this code using Python commands. I will say Python and demo.py. Okay, that's one thing. And you can see I got hello. Also, I want to hide this path here. There are multiple ways of doing this, and I was able to find the simplest one. There are multiple options. You can basically you can change the configuration of your terminal or the PowerShell, and permanently you can get rid of this path, or maybe you can reduce the path, because as you can see, this particular folder is in Python course, that's into documents, that's into OneDrive, and lengthy path. So to reduce this, I have a script with me, and a simple script, thanks to AI. So I got this script here, which is function prompt, this one. This is the curly brackets open, there's a space here, then double quotes, PS for the PowerShell, the arrow, and then there's a space and this. Now, if you are using some other operating system and some other terminal, not PowerShell, I'm not sure about the prompt. So what you can do is you can just copy this and paste this in the AI model and say, okay, this is for PowerShell, what is for Linux or shell or different prompts. So check that out. Now when I say enter, you can see I got a smaller prompt here. And just to confirm I'm into this particular folder, I will also check with the help of pwd, which is present working directory. And yeah, present working directory is first project, so I'm good to go. And here, if I run this, you can see we got the output hello. So that's the basic changes I wanted to make. And now once we have this done, so let's try to understand what are functions and why do we need it. See, when you're building a project, of course, in your project, you'll be having a lot of lines of code. Till this point, we are working with IDLE and then basically the prompt, and then you are able to enter one line of code, and then we were able to see the output, and it was fun. But then when you build the actual software, it will have a lot of lines of code. And there are certain things, certain line of code, which you're going to repeat multiple times, right? Now, example, let's say if you talk about print hello here. Of course, if you look at this code here, and we are talking about this from a long time, this print is a function, okay? And how do we know that's a function? So we have a name for it, and then we are opening this bracket, closing this bracket. This is a function. Now, why this is useful? As I mentioned before, when you have a lot of lines of code, and if you want to reuse them, you can put that in one function. Let me show an example here. So let me remove this part as of now, and let me write a code. Let's say I want to add two numbers, as simple as that. So we got two variables. We got a as value 5, we got b as value 4. Doesn't matter what the values are. And then we got a c variable in which you are basically adding these two values, a and b. The value of a is 5, the value of b is 4. So we know the value of c would be 9, and then here you can print it. So you can go to print and you can say c. Basically, you're printing the value of c. I think this is the first time when we're writing multiple lines of code in one go, not like a prompt where you are entering a equal to 5, then b equal to 4 in different lines. Here we have all that in one line. Okay, in other languages, basically we put a semicolon there just at the end so that we can define, hey, that's the end of the line or the statement. But in Python, the simple enter works. Okay, even if you say semicolon, I don't think there's an issue in Python, but and why do we need extra symbol there? Now this is your code. Okay, now if you execute this, of course, you will be getting the addition and you'll be printing it. Let me show you. Of course, I can run that here, or I can type Python. You just have to make sure that you're in the right folder, and you can see we got 9. Now let's say if I have a lot of lines of code, maybe 10 or 100 or maybe 1,000 or maybe 10,000. Okay, it's not a good idea to write everything in one file, but let's say we have a lot of lines of code and maybe you want to reuse this code multiple times. So basically, let's say somewhere after 50 lines of code, you have this code again. So in between, you have a lot of codes here. And after that, you got this particular code. Now, why do we need this? You have to write this code because we want to do the same thing again. Maybe you want to add two values again. Now, don't you think if you want to write this code multiple times, then just write them once and give it a name. Something like this. Take this code, put that in a box, something like this. Maybe I can just draw some lines here to specify, hey, that's the box. And this box need to have a name if I want to call it again. So this is a code. I want to put that in a box and call it multiple times, or maybe once, my wish. And we can name this as add block. Okay, that's a block, and we got a name for it, which is add block. Now, since I have a name for it, now I can call it multiple times. So let's say in some other file, not in this file, maybe in some other file, I can simply say, hey, remember that block add, just call it. So I will say call add block, and this code will execute. Is that fun, right? But then if you can see the IDE, the VS Code is not happy with the statement here because this is not a Python syntax, this is English. So how do we do that in Python syntax? First of all, you don't give this lines here. Okay, let's put the lines there. First of all, you don't say add a block. That's not how you write a block. You need to create something called a function. Okay, this should be a function. Now, how do you create a function in Python? You use a keyword called def. Def stands for definition. And then you give this function a name. So I'm going to name it, let's say add. I don't want to think a lot. So add, and then you have to give round brackets to define that's a function. Now you have to open the function. This is the opening of the function. This is a closing of the function. But then again, Python is not happy. This is not how you create opening and closing. So how do we do it? First of all, you need to remove this. This is not how you do it. So how do we do it? Just after the add, you give a colon to define that whatever comes after this is a part of this particular function. Okay. And how do you say that it's a part of the function? You give a tab. So whatever code you need to be a part of this function, you have to write that with a indentation. So I'm giving a tab. Okay, so everything now belongs to this add. So the tab is not compulsory. You can also give a space, a single space, but you have to make sure that you're consistent with all the spacing. So for the first statement, if you're using 4 space, which is 1 tab, for the second statement as well, you have to be consistent. Okay. In other languages, we use curly brackets to open and close the function. This also looks curt, but then Python wanted to make it simple, so they have removed the curly brackets. You can just follow the indentation. This is a boon for Python developers because they don't have to type extra symbols, but also sometimes it can be confusing. Hey, where is that function starting? Where's the function ending? But you will get used to it. Okay, so once you know the indentation properly, you will get used to these things, and I got used to it, so that's fine. So this is how you define a function. Okay, at this point I will remove this. Just remember, this is a statement I have written. In fact, I can also use a comment there. I'm not sure if you have talked about comment before. A comment is basically a way to write something in the file but you don't want your Python interpreter to interpret. So you can say, hey, that's a comment. Okay, don't execute this. So in Python, we use hash as a symbol to write the comment. And now once you have done that, let me clear this and run it again. In fact, it looks good if I put that, or maybe I should keep it here. Enter, and okay, there is no error. That's a good thing. But there's no output. That's a bad thing. Now, why there's no output? Because we have commented this. Okay, let's uncomment this and say, okay, call add block. But again, this is in normal English. It's not happy. I will remove this and let's find how do we do that in Python. So to call the function, you have to say the function name, round brackets, and that's it. This will call the function. Okay. Now you might be thinking, okay, this is a part of the function. Why this is not part of a function? Is because if you observe for all this code here, all these lines, there's a space, there's a tab space, right? 4 spaces. Here we don't have any indentation. So this particular line is outside the function. Okay, that's something you have to remember. And now after making the changes, one thing you have to do is you have to save it. Very important, and run. And now you can see we got the output 9. Now, it's not that you can call it only once. You can call this as multiple times as you want. Add. So write it once, write this code once and call it multiple times. Not just in this file. You can write it in other files as well. That's cool, right? And now you can see this is calling that 3 times. So you can call it 1,000 times, it will call 1,000 times. Not a good idea. Why someone will do that? But it works. So let's get back to one line of code. And now what else we can do? See, every time you call add, it will print 9 because that's what you're doing. You are hard coding the value of A and B, and every time you execute this function, you will get 9. I don't want that. I want this to be dynamic value. So let's say if someone is calling add and they want to add, let's say 2 and 3. Maybe someone wants to add 10 and 20 or maybe a big number. So how do I do that? So one way you can just pass the value here. So you can say add, I want to pass 2, 3. Now this time I want it to add 2, 3, not 5 and 4. But if you run this, you will get an error. It says, okay, you're passing 2 arguments, but you're not accepting it. Don't you think if someone is passing the values, you need to accept it as well? And that's where you have to accept it. So let's say I'm accepting that in 2 variables called x and y. And again, variable name can be anything. So these 2 values, 2 and 3, will go in x and y. Okay, now there should not be an issue. Let me just run this once again. Oh, what I'm doing. Let's run this. Okay, there is a problem here. It says we are passing 2 and 3. Oh, can you see that round? I have not saved it. My bad. Okay, now you can see it says 9. But why 9? It should be 5, right? See, we are accepting those values here, but we are not assigning those values to A and B. We are still assigning 5 and 4. So let's say X and let's say Y, and now it should be happy. Let's run this and you got 5. That's how you can specify the values. Okay. Now let's say I don't want to print the value here, because what is happening is every time you call add, it will add those 2 values, it is printing it. That's a default definition of it. That's how we defined it basically. But let's say I want it to not print it. Maybe I want to do something else with that value. So let's say if you are calling add, maybe you want to print it. Maybe I'm calling add, I don't want to print it. I want to save that output in a file, or maybe I want to save that output in the database. Maybe I want to send that output to a server. My wish. Okay. So here, since we are printing it, it will always print it. So I would say, hey, now let me decide what to do with that value. So what I want to do is when I call add, I want you to give me the value. Give it to me. So I will say result. Now, since it will give, I have to also accept it. So I will call add, and it is responsibility of the add to give me the value. And that value goes into result, and I can do whatever I want with that. But unfortunately, let's try to print it. And I will say with the statement, I will say result is, I will print result. So I want this to be printed as result is and then the value. But if you run this, you got 5 here because we are still printing it. And it says result is none. None is because this add function is not returning anything. And that's why you got none. Okay. If you are coming from other languages where we have a concept of procedures, this looks like a procedure where it executes something but not returning, but I want it to return. Okay. And you might be thinking this is not returning anything. It is actually returning something. And you know what is that returning? It is returning none. None is a thing in Python which says it's none. Okay. So it returns none basically. What I want to do is I want to return C. So instead of printing it here, I can use a keyword called return and I can see. So I can say return C here, which is a variable. So when you call add, it will add these two values and then it will return the variable which is C, and that value will be assigned to result. And now if you see, it still says none, and I'm doing this mistake multiple times. I'm not saving it. And the result is 5. It's finally working. So maybe I will, if I execute this again, I will just copy this code and paste it here. Or maybe instead of saying copy paste, we should say code reuse. If I pass a different value, let's say if I pass 5 and 8, that should be 13. And you can see we got result is 13. That's how we do it. So yeah, that's about functions. And I want to show you one more thing. I know this is a lengthy video, but it's interesting. When you look at print, it's a function, right? And somewhere it is defined. The way we are defining add function, even print is defined somewhere. And when you hover on print, it specify what the print function is. They have defined it using print name, and then it does some things. But there's a description of it. Prints the value to a stream or standard output, string inserted between values. Okay, so it has a good definition or a description. And if you hover to add, it simply says there's a function called add. It takes two values and returns something, but there's no proper description for this. If you want to provide description, you can put that in triple quote or triple double quote. So you have to open triple double quote and then you have to close it. In between, you can say adds to values. Okay. And now when you save it and if you hover to add, you can see we have added this little description here. Okay, that's all about functions. Again, functions is a huge concept. It's just that for the upcoming videos, we're going to talk about certain things. This topic is important. That's why we have talked about functions here. That's it. See you in the next video.